Hello there. Today, I want to share this one daily action that is transforming my business. So that way you guys can implement it too, and hopefully it'll help your businesses as well. So, introduction here, if you guys don't know me, my name's Alicia. I have a lead generation business and I help entrepreneurs gain clients in their own business and teach other people how to do this as well. And a lot of times, this can be a lot on my plate, just being transparent. So, my daily schedule looks like having meetings with clients or potential clients, engaging in other people's accounts, 5 to 6 other people's accounts per day, jumping on calls for my clients sometimes, and then also teaching other people and then creating my own content, engaging for my own business. So, as you can see, my days are pretty packed. Normally, I do the majority of my work Monday through Friday, and then on Saturdays and Sundays, I'll kind of like hop in as needed, maybe post a story here or there, batch content, and just make sure that my client inboxes are cleared or are taken care of to be cleared by Monday. So, one of the things that I was dealing with a lot in the last year is kind of going through these cycles where I would work a lot and then get really burned out. And so I would never push past a certain income limit or a certain client limit because I would push myself really hard and then not be able to continue. And so this year, that's been a primary focus of mine is how do I keep going? How do I make a better work-life balance? And how do I actually energetically hold more? That doesn't mean necessarily putting more time into the business, but I think it means like holding more responsibilities energetically and being able to fulfill them all. So I started tracking data. I'm a numbers kind of person, and tracking data just really helps me see what's going on like in my life as well as, my business. And so I started tracking data, and I put this in one of the videos on pretty much everything I'm doing. So everything from exercising, the work I'm doing, what content I'm consuming, etc. And what I found is daily trainings significantly impact my productivity and motivation in business. And by daily trainings, what I mean is going in and listening to some sort of business training each day. Doesn't have to be super long, could be 5 to 10 minutes long, and it doesn't have to be something super formal or anything like that. But plugging into this has really helped me just get that spark and kind of have the motivation if I'm feeling kind of low or if I'm feeling really good. It just kind of keeps that momentum going. And what I'll say here is one of the things that I used to do that I still struggle with a little bit is social media. So when I would have kind of a break in my day, and by break, I don't mean like I was intentionally taking a break because I was, like eating or just stepping away from the computer. I mean, kind of those micro breaks in the day. So when it's like you are hopping off a call and you have a call in 5 minutes, or you are transitioning. For me, it's transitioning from engaging in one person's account to another. So that could be emotionally or energetically kind of draining because I'm going from one person's brand voice that sounds very different than another person's brand voice. So I kind of need to decompress a little bit and be like, okay, I'm stepping out of this persona and I'm stepping into this persona. And one of the things that I used to do during this time that I thought would just help my brain relax, help me kind of recenter, is I would just scroll on social media. And the problem with this is, yes, your brain might be shut off a little bit, but you're still consuming so much information that can lead to like comparison, distraction. Normally it doesn't necessarily make you feel better or motivated to get back to work, where I found that, okay, listening to a daily training, yes, you're still getting information, but you're not getting tons of input. So when you're scrolling on social media, for example, one post may be about business, and the next one might be about exercise, and then the next one's about food, and the next one's about organization. And so your brain's kind of going a million miles a minute, where if you are focused on just a training, whether that be a YouTube video, a community you're in, something like that, you're probably focused on one core subject for the 5 minutes that you're actually listening to the training. And so I think that your brain actually gets to relax more, but also then you have that motivation to take action on that specific thing, or your brain is kind of thinking like, oh, this specific thing, maybe I want to do this around it. So for me, daily trainings provide like motivation, inspiration, and really fosters that fire for personal and professional growth more so than other activities have done for me. So there's such an ease of access, and you can structure your time management around this. So for me, they could be as easy as listening to a podcast, watching a YouTube video, going through a self-paced course that you might have purchased in the past, or maybe you find one. There's also lots of free courses out there, and just utilizing these small white spaces of time and short breaks between calls to consume daily trainings. So it doesn't have to be a thing where you sit down at your desk and like that's what you do. However, like if that works for you, that is great. But for me, I feel like it's better kind of just in the in-between, because there's so much space now that I'm data tracking and tracking my time that is probably not utilized to its best potential. And obviously we need our breaks and we need stuff like that, but I think in those like little white spaces, this is just something that I feel like works really well for me. Daily trainings are made really accessible, and what I've done, like a little hack, is make these more accessible to you than other things that are a distraction. So for example, our brains actually just want to do the easiest thing when we're fatigued. So if it's easier for you to access these trainings than it is for you to access whatever your distraction may be, just make it really easy to get on these. So one thing that I saw someone do in a community I'm in is, I think they liked browsing the web. So they replaced their Safari button with the school icon. And school, if you guys don't know, is a community platform where a lot of people host their courses, their communities. And he was saying that he was actually able to get through so many trainings just because he switched where that app was. And if you guys don't know, on iPhones, Safari is actually accessible from all pages. You don't have to search for it, it's at the bottom. And so just by making that switch, his brain was able to kind of go to that school icon first versus going to his regular habit of going to Safari. So think about where your brain usually goes, or path of least resistance for you, and put these daily trainings or whatever you're focusing on there. So if it is your home screen on your computer, if it is like a little widget on your phone, if it's just having these trainings bookmarked for you, like where do you usually go, and make the trainings almost more accessible than your distractions are. And that's a great hack really with anything, is make your distractions less accessible, because then you're not likely to go to it, because when you're fatigued, you're not going to find the hard thing to do, you're going to find the path of least resistance. And this is a hack I've been using for a while. So when I am walking around the house or doing things like that, I actually try not to bring my phone with me. I try and bring my Kindle with me. And so then if I am really tired and I'm just, sitting in the living room at night, I'm less likely to go to social media. I'm more likely to read my Kindle, because my Kindle's with me, where I'd have to walk back to my room to get my phone. And as simple as that can seem, like, oh, you just have to walk to your room, like if your Kindle's right there, you will find something to do with the things that are present in your physical reality versus having to make that extra effort to get something else. Of course, if you really needed it, you would, but in those instances, usually you don't really need it. And then, like I said, prepare in advance and have things readily available for these moments. So if you know that, hey, you're gonna hop from a call to another call and there's gonna be 5 minutes in between, maybe have a podcast pulled up already and like your headphones ready to go, so that way all you have to do is press play on your phone and in between, and it's that easy. So those are just some of my tips around ease of access and time management. And here is some ideas around avoiding burnout. So not engaging in daily trainings actually led to me feeling burnt out or falling into bad habits because, like I said, with these trainings, I usually choose things that are motivational, inspirational, and so each day something that's top of mind is how can I better my processes? How can I better myself? How can I make better choices? How can I improve my way of being? Versus if you're doing the same thing every single day, sometimes it's really hard to keep up that pattern or keep up that flow if you aren't feeling those positive feelings of like inspiration, motivation, etc. Maybe for you it's not daily trainings, but for me they like really help me connect with my purpose, my why, my motivation, my goals, everything like that. They're really helpful when you're unsure too of what content to create. I find that I create the most content when I'm actually listening to other people creating content or listening to them doing a training because it sparks ideas within me. That doesn't mean that I'm copying what they're doing or I'm saying word for word. It could be as simple as they're saying, for instance, I was watching a video where someone was saying, I track my data and here's what I found. So I started tracking my data and now I'm sharing with you guys what I found in it. And he never explained anything about daily trainings or how that helped them, but this was what I found from tracking my data. And so listening to that training actually did spark this piece of content, even though it's totally different than what he was talking about. I also think that it promotes self-care. And that's probably the content that I listen to. I listen to a lot of, biohacking, self-care, stuff like that. But I think really when you look at just the practice in and of itself, when you are prioritizing your growth and your learning and development, that does promote self-care, apart from, for example, other habits that you may be going to that aren't as supportive to your future or to your goals. So I just find it really inspiring being able to see what other people are doing and hear what they are saying. I'm also really picky about like who I listen to, so I'm not trying to listen to 20,000 different people's opinions on things. Like I've chosen probably like 5 to 6 people where I'm like, I really align with their values and I want to hear what they're going to say and I want to learn from them. And so they're the people that are my go-tos on this, and that doesn't mean I won't listen to anyone else. It's just the majority of content I consume right now are from a few select people so that my brain isn't completely overwhelmed and I'm able to go into a direction that I've already consciously chosen is the right next path for me. So thanks so much for your time and watching this video. I hope it was helpful for you. Please let me know, like, if you do implement this into your life, what you found, or if you're already implementing this, what kind of impact it has on you. And also let me know what kind of content you love to consume, because I'm so curious what kind of content people are consuming and just what helps each individual person. So if you've liked this video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you want more videos on entrepreneurship and lead gen. And thanks so much for your time and for being here.